Hey, everyone. Welcome to the podcast Modern Couples, What Your Therapist Never Told You. My name is Rick Miller,
I'm Lillian Borges.
and we are both therapists who love working with couples. And we're thrilled you've joined us for today. And our topic is, can a couple survive infidelity? This is something we could really go on and on forever about.
It's such a important, great topic
Yeah.
because you see patients coming to you with that problem all the time, with betrayal, with infidelity, and that can wreck a relationship. And often they ask us that, can we survive this? Are we going to be able to survive this? What do you say to them?
I mean, I'm optimistic and I do believe that couples can survive infidelity, but when couples are going through it, they have no sense at all that that can be the case.
Yes, and it's not a quick fix.
No, no.
Sometimes they do need or they want a quick fix. Or the person who committed the betrayal
hmm
wants a quick fix.
I like your sensitive language, the person that committed the betrayal, because we get so caught up in judgment in our culture
Mm,
that usually there's the cheater and the victim.
mm.
And when people are describing infidelity, it frequently breaks down into judgments just like that.
Yes, I think that there is a lot of guilt and a lot of shame that can be involved. And if we bring a language that bring less of those feelings, that is good.
Yes.
Because sometimes people can get stuck in that and make
hmm
bad decisions based on that.
Yep.
So that being said, to overcome a infidelity, it can take a long time, up to a year, sometimes more than that. And the couple needs to be ready for a long period of recovery, which means dealing with the crisis and all that is up in the air when infidelity is discovered or uncovered, and then changing the elements in the relationship that made that be a possibility to make that happen, and then helping them to change.
Yeah. So what I would love to do, Lillian, is break those down a little bit because there's so much to say about each of those.
Oh, yeah.
So the first thing that you described was, I forgot the words that you used, but the incidents leading up to infidelity. And that is something that's really significant that I spend a lot of time speaking about with my individuals or couples that I work with, which is that, again, the judgment and the generalization is that someone cheats on their partner because they're evil and they're a sociopath and they don't care about what their partner thinks and they don't love them. Most often, this is not the case. And people frequently are unfaithful for any number of reasons. Sometimes it has nothing to do with their relationship. Sometimes it has to do with something in their life. It could be their family of origin and how they grew up and what they know. It could be boredom. It could be having some sexual preferences that they're not able to bring up to their partners. It could be unintentional attraction to someone that they let get out of control. I mean, I could go on and on and on, but what I'm trying to say here is that sometimes what's most important to do is step back and look at the reasons why this is happening. And frequently the person that's felt cheated upon or been cheated upon by their partner wants us as the couple's therapist to fry their partner and have no sympathy for them. And my approach is to look at what both partners are experiencing and kind of break it down for each of them.
Oh, it's interesting that you started with the things that led up to the infidelity. That's not where I started, because that for me is trying to understand why that happened in first place. And sometimes there's other things that needs to be dealt with.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
One partner is not being able to sleep. They can't, they're living separate places, or they can't stop fighting, or, The partner who discovered, is now flooded with anxiety, can't sleep. So and that's what I was referring to.
I see.
And especially if they have kids, and whether the kids do know or don't know, and how to manage that, and who else knows, and
Mm.
taking whose
Mhm.
side, and that, yada yada yada. So sometimes that's the priority, to help the couple navigate when it is discovered. But you're talking about what led to infidelity,
Mhm.
and understanding that. And I think that is my point of view, is a little, sometimes a little bit different
Mhm.
than yours. So a lot of times the lack of communication, or the dynamics that are created, either because one person wants, has some, sexual preferences. Let's say one person is bisexual, the other person is not, or one person, specific preferences, and is not being able to bring up for the partner. Or sometimes they don't feel that they can talk about everything with their partner, so they start talking with someone else. So a lot of lack of communication might happen, and might bring a rift, or a gap in the relationship. But also, there are some other things, like growing up in a family where there's a lot of infidelity, or growing up in a family that you never felt safe and secure. So you don't feel safe and secure in your own relationships,
Or don't know how to be that way.
or don't know how to. Yes. So there's a lot of aspects that gets in the way, but I think that they are somehow intertwined with the fabric of their relationship. And sometimes, not 100%, but most of the times, that can create this gap, and the infidelity happens.
Okay.
Did I talk too much?
Yeah.
Did I
No,
talk too
that's
much?
great. I love it. No, you're not. No, I have so much to say about so many different things, and I'm gonna do my best to remember, and I probably won't, but one of them is, long before infidelity, is the issue of what's okay in our relationship and what isn't okay. And the example that I'm coming up with is, I'm working with a heterosexual couple, and the husband spends a lot of time on Instagram, and he follows beautiful movie stars and comments on how good they look, and she takes great offense to it. And it's come up in the course of couples therapy that he's acting inappropriately. And she feels as though he's going down a road that could lead to infidelity.
Do you think that that is infidelity, though?
No, I personally don't, and I'm a gay man. That was another point I was gonna make, that sometimes the communities that people are a part of
Yes.
have a script or a code about what's acceptable and what isn't acceptable. And in my instance, as a gay man and also as a therapist who works a lot with couples, I felt as though he was doing something that was okay. He was following public figure and saying that you look beautiful in that dress. I said to the wife that I didn't feel as though that was offensive, and she didn't agree with me, and we had a great conversation. I'm looking at your face right now, dying to know what you're thinking.
I know, and I'm dying to talk.
Okay,
Let
go
me
ahead.
speak. Because it doesn't matter what we think. It is what they, if one person is not okay with that, it's not okay with them,
Right.
right? Secure functioning, right?
Oh my god, yeah.
It doesn't matter what you think,
Right.
They need to be in the same page. And if they are not, if one person feels threatened or doesn't like it, it brings unsafety to the relationship. So it's not okay.
Okay, that's a very good point, and it does go back to communication, and as you were saying earlier, communication in the couple and what has been ongoing, what rifts have been there frequently for months and months and months, if not years.
Yes, right? So that is not okay. Okay. Oh, that is okay. Who decided that?
Right.
Did you
Right.
decide that together? And if you look, you're going to find more things like that.
Mhm.
That maybe even the wife had done stuff decided by herself without consulting him.
Yeah. Yeah.
And again, and they both do that,
Mhm.
and that's not a good policy. for the couple, for any couple, by the way.
One of the things that I see a lot of are generalizations about infidelity. And the generalization is that men cheat more than women. And that may be true or it may not be true. I actually don't know. But in this generalization, the men are uncaring, uncommunicative, and the women are out of control and demanding. And that is a recurrent theme that comes up. And I think friends, family, community likes to weigh in and characterize people according to these categories.
Or stereotypes.
Stereotypes. Yeah.
And I think that it doesn't matter if it's a male or female. When you discover a infidelity, unless you are also doing the same, your entire world is going to be shaken.
Completely. Yeah.
And the person, male or female, it doesn't matter.
Hmm.
It will start questioning and having a PTSD like response, thinking about it all the time, not being able to sleep, anxious, and then being upset. It might be attacking, not physically, sometimes, yes, but not physically, emotionally, wanting questions and acting
Right.
quote unquote crazy.
Right. And I want to normalize everything that you're saying, that these are normal reactions to finding out that your partner hasn't been faithful to you. And there's nothing wrong with this. And I would guess that both you and I spend time reassuring our clients that this is what people experience and it's okay.
Yes. And I think that is important for the two of them to know that
Yes.
that is a normal reaction to that specific situation. And that is not going to help them or reduce, but at least makes them feel a little bit better. And I don't know how long it takes. It depends on the relationship, it depends on the person,
Yeah.
but it will go away and the person will be feeling better.
Well, I wouldn't say it goes away. Maybe the intensity of the symptoms go away.
I'm talking about the PTSD.
Okay, got it. Okay, I thought you meant the experience in general.
No, 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 no. I'm sorry. Yes, thank you. No, the PTSD type of symptoms will go
Mhm.
away. What I was trying to say is it helps when the partner helps and doesn't dismiss or doesn't say that is crazy or, I already apologize. What else do you want from me?
Yes, right. And that's common. Frequently, the partner dismisses out of not wanting to make things worse, not wanting to hurt the other person,
Yes.
or because of their own shame. And that is making it harder to deal with for the couple and making the person that already feels out of control more out of control. It's like, no,
Yes.
it's okay to be honest, as hard as it is. But if you're minimizing the symptoms to protect your partner, you're not doing a justice to either one of you.
Exactly. So I like what you said, minimizing what happened to protect the partner. That, you have to be transparent.
Yeah.
Hiding stuff, not saying stuff because you do not want this to drag or to hurt your partner. That is not a smart behavior when you're trying to heal from an infidelity.
And it really does take months and months and months and months. And speaking of PTSD, couples can do great over the course of time. And there frequently is a possibility that their relationship can become much stronger than it had been. But one quick reminder can set them back. And that's just part of the process.
It is part of the process. And yes, small little things can set back. And in my experience, that is very true. After the recovery, their relationship then can become much stronger, much better
Yeah.
because they looked at what was the difficulties in their relationships that made it possible for an infidelity to happen, and they take care of it.
But I do wanna say, back to what I was saying earlier, that sometimes what causes infidelity in an individual isn't always a couple's issue.
So could you give us an example?
I'm sure I'd have to dig deep and think of someone, but an example would be someone who's incredibly bored at work, perhaps depressed and not finding any joy in their life, and their relationship can be fine and functional and they can be sexual. But in an effort to experience some kind of excitement, having sex on the side or having a relationship brings up a sense of excitement for the person,
Mhm.
and they're unfaithful. That would be one example.
Another example that is occurring to me is sex addiction or any addiction, to tell the truth.
Yes.
Alcohol or drugs can
Yep.
also bring that. But again, that is also going to be playing in the dynamics of the relationship.
Sure.
Not communicating, not talking about it, the couple not dealing with the addiction or the boredom or the depression. Mhm.
One of the topics that comes up a lot during the phase of working on the relationship and going back to normal is, does the spouse have the privilege to check up on their partner all the time? So if you've been betrayed by your partner, do you have the right to look at their computer and look at every single email and check their cell phone when they're not in the room and see what they're doing? I'm just curious what your thoughts are on that.
Well, my thoughts is one word: transparency.
Mhm. Okay.
And having transparency and have the couple deciding what is the best.
Yes.
And one thing that you implied is that sometimes what happens is that this discovery partner keeps obsessing about, is this happening now, is this happening now,
Yes.
and checking, which is not good for the partner or the relationship or anyone.
Right. But it's also normal at the same time.
So it is important, but again, also necessary. Necessary for the person who lost the
Yes.
trust to trust again. So transparency is very important at this point, or any point for that matter. But I think that I help the couple to decide,
Yeah.
right? And the important thing is, does your partner needs to see your phone? Be transparent. Let them have the password. Let it be available at any time, because then there's no issue anymore. But if if it keeps to be obsessive, then we need to address that.
And that's the point that I'm making, that in some instances I've worked with couples where the partner has rightfully felt insecure. And my stance is to discuss the insecurities and figure out what to do from there, which may be looking at the computer, sharing the phone, sharing the devices. But in many instances, what happens is that one of the individuals will obsessively check their partner's screen time, who they're speaking to, and what they're doing out of their own insecurity and anxiety rather than discussing it. So the MO becomes catching them rather than sharing vulnerabilities.
Yes. Yes, sometimes it is. They prefer to do that instead of asking for reassurance.
Mhm.
But a lot of times, I have to say that it is something that the partner who did the betrayal is doing something.
Mhm.
They're still going out with the friends and not saying, or hiding, or telling a white lie here and
Mhm.
there, or minimizing. And, the person can smell that and still feel insecure. So a lot of times we tend to blame the discovery partner
Mhm.
that, oh, you're anxious, or the partner does, right? I'm not doing anything wrong. Yeah, but you're not completely transparent.
Mhm.
So who decides?
Right.
That's not okay. And then keeps blaming the discovery partner that they're crazy, they're too insecure. And if you look, closely, you're going to find something that the other partner is doing to trigger that.
Question, when you're working with an individual who's been betrayed, how often do you refer them to couples therapy versus do you continue to see them individually or do you recommend both?
That's such a case by case decision, right?
Mhm.
Sometimes the person who comes to me either is a old patient or had referred to me by a couples therapist.
Right.
So in that case, they are already doing couples therapy. There are some other times where the individual say, I can't do couples therapy right now. I need to feel a little bit stronger to be able to do that.
Yeah.
And then I respect. And sometimes they
Mhm.
are actually very right. They don't. And sometimes infidelity, depending on the type of infidelity and how long it was and with whom, that can wreck not only a relationship, but a whole community and family, depending on who that they did that with.
And how long it lasted, that's a really, really good point, a one-time thing versus an ongoing intimate relationship with another person.
For years, yes.
I just wanted to comment on from my end, I see a lot of partners individually, and in many instances, I've suggested couples work because it's such loaded territory and it's so hard for many couples to manage all this on their own. And the sense of education and normalcy that therapists can provide with certain couples who are able and willing to do the work can be tremendously relieving. Yet, as you're saying, not everyone is able to do that work. I always hope that couples can take advantage of doing deeper work after a betrayal because I believe that their relationship, in many instances, has the capacity to strengthen itself and get better.
Yes, that's the hope, but sometimes couples are not, or one of the partners. I remember teaching in China, and there was a couple that asked me to see them. This man had been working in Singapore,
Mhm.
so he would go there and spend a couple of months and then come back. And in those trips, those 2 years where he worked in a different country, he had affairs and then would come home, the wife discovered, but he really wasn't he didn't want to do the therapy. He just wanted the wife to stop, quote unquote,
Yes.
whining, right?
Right. Stop nagging.
Yes,
Yeah.
she was just whining and nagging him, and he said that he was not going to do that anymore. What else did she want? And it was very kind of arrogant, but I think that it played also with the culture and also the economical, the her financial dependence on him and all that. I think that's all, very important points when it comes to recovery and treating and overcoming infidelity.
I think one of the challenges that you're alluding to is sometimes couples can't get beyond the betrayal, the behavior, the secrecy. And one of the questions to consider is, do we stay together or do we not stay together? And obviously, that's a very challenging, delicate issue for people to decide.
Yes. A lot of people had a history of being cheated, and that was painful. And they decided, I will not accept that anymore.
Yeah.
I cannot go through that again. If you do that to me, I will leave you. Or, I see my mom and dad going through that,
Yes.
and if you ever do that to me, I will leave you. And so a lot of people have that policy,
Of
and they
course.
would
Yeah.
say, I will leave you if you ever do that to me.
I'm working with a gay couple right now, and that was the policy. They've been together for about 30 years and they remained monogamous. And during the pandemic, one of the guys, who's a complete extrovert, was no longer going to the office, no longer had the structure in his day to day life. And he found himself on a hookup app. He wasn't looking for an affair, but he realized, oh my God, there's a whole world out there that I've been missing out on. And he just blurted out one day, I can't be monogamous anymore. And it was really challenging. And they worked through it. And they're still working through it with me in couples therapy. But it was fascinating how one day it just, after 30 years of monogamy, was like, boing, it just dawned on him that he couldn't do it anymore. And to his credit, he was honest about it before acting on it. And
Yes.
it's posed many challenges. The partner, of course, felt betrayed and wondered what he was doing wrong and was so happy with what they had. And he's had to acclimate and readjust. And now the two of them have an open relationship, which is both smooth and bumpy depending on the week. And I did want to mention that more gay men have experience with open relationships. And when it's consensual and agreements are made, that is not infidelity. But if their agreements are violated, then that is considered infidelity. I think that as a model of open relationships that are consensual, that have been understood from the subculture, it's easier to handle. But of course, betrayals still exist.
Yes, and I think that marriage and relationships in general are changing.
Yeah.
We see more and more heterosexual couples
Mhm.
opening their relationship or doing what they called the ethical non-monogamy. And I think it's opening more, not opening the relationships, but the variety had been happening more
Yeah, yeah.
nowadays. I see that more in the office, in the media. I've read articles about that. The relationships are changing.
I'm gonna use a analogy that I use with a lot of people, which is a sliding door. When you think about the opening of a relationship with a sliding door, you can open it 1 inch or you can open it all the way, and there's a lot of variations for couples to decide what works for them, but I'm veering off the topic of infidelity, so maybe we'll do a future episode
But no,
on.
but I think it is perfect. My idea is, what does the couple decide what is infidelity and what is not?
Yes.
You can have an open relationship and that not being infidelity. You might see go on TikTok and or Facebook and follow someone and or like someone, and that might be an infidelity. So it's not always sexual.
Mhm. Yes.
It is, decided by the couple.
Right.
It is what you decide together, and one person feels or not feels, but that rule is broken, even if it's implicit. So, for instance, one person can like the other, but the husband or the wife would not like that. So the rules should be good for the two of them.
I definitely agree with you, but I'm not as pure as you are as a couples therapist. I weigh in probably more than you do, like
Mhm.
like the example I gave earlier, but I wouldn't overlook the emotional needs of each partner in those moments.
Oh, yeah.
I think I'm either less well trained or just a little less pure.
What do you what are you calling purity here?
Purity is that I might weigh in on my opinion and offer that to them
Mm.
for a challenge or for reassurance.
Well, I say that all the time. Meaning, I don't know, that for me will not be, but I'm not married to you. I don't go to bed with you. And then I say that. So your wife should agree. So you don't ask me.
Right.
Yes, don't ask me, ask her, because I'm looking at her face right now and she's not happy. You're going to go home with her. She is the one. She is the one that needs to be happy with you, not me. So I say that all the time. And sometimes I do need to make it explicit, right? What are my points of view or what my preferences are. So that is out of the table, right?
Yes.
So these are my fair preference, but this is not my, but that's not me. Because
Yeah.
sometimes they do confront me. Oh, you're saying this because da 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 da. And I said, yeah, you're right. That's
Mhm.
what I want and believe. But again, I am not a patient here. You guys came here, and it seems that your wife is, or your husband is not happy with that. So don't take it up with him or her, and not me.
Mhm.
And again, and I think that when you say the partner's needs, they're very important. And I think that is the most important thing.
Yep.
If they're not getting their needs met in their relationship, they're going to get somewhere else. And sometimes it is not even, is not the fault of the betrayed part. So what I'm trying to say is this. I do have some couples where either the husband or the wife, because the way that they grew up, they are very guarded. It's easier for them to open up with people they don't know than with their own partner. It's hard to ask for them what they need or be vulnerable. If they do that, they are afraid of how, their partner is going to react. So they open up to strangers, and in that opening up, that is the possibility of having an affair, either emotional or sexual. And yes, which is even worse for, the partner who was betrayed, because, I've been here all along waiting for you to open up and be here with me, and now you're having an affair because you're not able to open up to me. Why are we doing this? So, and I have, several, and in my mind I'm thinking about several couples like that. And that is a little bit of, not a little bit, but that is a big problem when you are in a relationship, but you cannot be vulnerable or open.
And that's where we come in. Obviously,
Yes.
our goal as couples therapists, regardless of presenting issues, are to help them communicate, be more expressive, be more vulnerable, and learn to tolerate the discomfort in these moments of intimacy.
So, question, can a relationship survive infidelity or not? What is the verdict today?
I mean, my very quick answer was going to be 100%, but that's actually not true. Yes, many relationships can survive infidelity with long, painful, hard work, new communication patterns, an agreement, perhaps to recommit to each other in a way that got stale for a long time, to explore sexuality and intimacy, to create new agreements between them that are more fitting for where they are now in life compared to when they first met. So I'm a big believer and a big optimist that relationships can change and that they're worth working for. How
Yes.
about you?
100%. A
Oh,
100%. Can a relationship survive infidelity? Yes. Will my relationship survive infidelity? I don't know.
we shall see.
We shall see,
Go to your
right?
local couples therapist and get some
Yes.
help with that one.
Will my relation or will your relationship survive? We don't know because there are many aspects, right, that
Yes.
needs to be taken. Is it the first? How long did it last? How bad was the betrayal, right?
But I do want to say one thing. You're not the first couple in the world going through this, for those of you that are listening. And of course, it's devastating, and people feel like they're the only people, the only ones, the only couple going through this. And that's not the case. There's hope.
Yes, you are running a marathon is not a sprint.
Mm-hmm.
Do you need to know that this is gonna take work?
Oh, yeah.
The partner who did the betrayal, it will have to you broke it, you have to fix it.
Yep. Yeah.
And it's going to take a while, it's going to take patience and hard work, but it is possible, and the relationships can become much better, much stronger.
I agree.
You might be much happier with your relationship.
And it's incredible to watch this unfold when it happens.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yes.
I don't have any more talking points or final things because I felt like I said it a few moments ago. Do you have any other tidbits?
We can talk about this, endlessly because there's so much to talk about. What I would like to say is if you're struggling with infidelity and you feel stuck, there's hope out there. There are books that you can buy and read that will guide you. But I would recommend going to couples therapy because the couples therapists have the map to guide you through a territory that it can be threatening, can be dangerous, can be, difficult to navigate.
And I would add to that, as you're looking for a couples therapist, you may want to ask whether this is a topic they're comfortable with.
Yeah.
Because you would like to think that all couples therapists are comfortable with infidelity. There are a few out there that may not be.
Yes. And also if they have enough experience with couples and training with couples therapy, I would say that. Yes.
Okay, well, thank you everyone for being here today. This is it for today. And thanks as always for joining us for The Modern Couples, What Your Therapist Never Told You. And we will see you next time.
See you next time.
Thanks, Lillian. Bye-bye.
Bye.